It's Persona 5 season once again for us BA global players, as the Alabaster calling card event is returning in this week's Blue Archive update, and with it comes the release of Maid Momoi and Maid Midori's banners as the new 3-star units, as well as the rerun of Maid Toki and Maid Aris's banners, plus Maid Yuzu as the welfare unit. In this video, I will be reviewing both Maid Momoi and Maid Midori, while Bunny Toki and Maid Aris will be reviewed in a separate video, which should hopefully be uploaded probably a day or two later. So without further ado, here is a short review of the twin gamer maids. Let's start with the older sibling, Maid Momoi. She's a little cutie and an adorable clumsy klutz in her maid outfit, especially with that tiny fang. But don't let her innocent exterior fool you, cause beneath it lies a toxic racist gamer, capable of throwing it back to the good old COD MW3 days on the Xbox 360 as she hurls slurs and insults at you. And friendly PSA, remember to hide your Karin and Iori from your local Momoi, otherwise she'll get beaten up. Okay, all jokes aside, it's kinda surprising that Momoi, of all students, has become such a popular meme among the BA community as a racist, as well as outside of our fanbase, mainly due to the "Oh my Goto" meme and AI singing covers. But as always, remember people, she's actually just a sweet Kusugaki gremlin who constantly tries her best, and she isn't a racist at all, though she is, admittedly, a toxic cheater. Finally, I really adore her L2D. The way she's sleeping in that pose with the leg up and the potato chip crumbs all over, it's so freaking goofy and cute, and it perfectly encapsulates her lazy gamer personality that we all love. Quick, while she's sleeping, we gotta prank him, John. Time to give her some much needed correction. So, what kind of student is she? Maid Momoi is a permanent Sonic DPS striker with red armor who has the following terrain moods: D combat power in urban terrains, S combat power in field, and B combat power in indoor terrains. The equipment she rocks, hat, pin and watch, are the typical DPS equipment set, with the hat and watch being important as they boost her damage capabilities. Let's take a look at her skills. Maid Momoi has a 4-course EX, where she gains a golden mag after hacking the game, as she immediately reloads while amplifying her normal attacks to deal additional damage, and increasing her own attack speed, as well as gaining the ability to ignore attack delay 100 times, with all these effects ending after her next reload. Her basic skill deals damage to one enemy every 50 seconds, her enhanced skill boosts her crit damage, and with her sub skill, when using her EX, she replenishes the ammo consumed by her normal attacks for a certain length of time. At UA 40, her enhanced skill plus grants her additional crit, and at UA 50, her mood in field terrains improves from S to SS. Now, how good is Maid Momoi? Well, she certainly has a pretty unique kit, and she is a strong purple AA DPS, particularly due to her EX and sub skills. Firstly, her EX is a potent self-enhancing skill, as it does a multitude of things. For one, at max level skill, she is able to augment her normal attacks to deal 56% additional damage, allowing her to hit much harder, and this is further improved with the 85.1% attack speed buff that she applies to herself, massively increasing the rate at which she fires these powerful normal attacks, and to top it all off, she is able to ignore attack delay a whole 100 times, meaning she can continuously hit the enemy, since the pauses between her first 100 normal attack bursts are removed. However, all these have one major weakness, i.e. these buffs are removed the next time she reloads. So it is impossible for her to use up all 100 attack delay ignores, cause it only removes the gap between her normal attack bursts, and she still does need to reload. This is where her sub skill comes in very useful, as she basically gains infinite ammo for 5.5 seconds after using her EX at level 10 sub skill, since her ammo gets refunded. So essentially, combining all these together means she doesn't have to reload for that length of time, as she won't run out of bullets, allowing her EX's effects to remain in place, subsequently letting her fire non-stop throughout that 6-second period, especially because of the 100 attack delay ignore. I hope all that makes sense. This also means that she will massively benefit from attack speed buffs, cause the more regular attacks she fires throughout that 6-second period, the higher her damage output. Thus, you should utilize someone like Onsen Shinatsu to increase Maid Momoi's attack speed using her potent single target EX, which stacks cause Momoi's EX is a self buff and basic skill, turning her into a shredding machine as she goes brr. With all that being said, there is another problem, i.e. the unlimited ammo period only lasts for 5.5 seconds, and once that's over, she will have to reload, which will remove her EX's effects. And it is virtually impossible for her to use up all 100 attack ignore delays unless they add a unit who can give students ammo in the future. Either ways, her ability to fire powerful augmented normal attacks continuously for 5.5 seconds at incredible speed as a result of her EX and sub skills makes her the best purple single target damage dealer for now. Other than that, her basic skill is pretty decent as it is able to deal quite acceptable damage with its fairly high multiplier of 788%, though its activation time of 50 seconds is really lengthy. Plus, you would ideally want it to not activate when she's performing her EX, since it will interrupt her non-stop attacks and you'll be losing out on lots of damage. Hence, you'd want her BS to activate after or before you use her EX, so in a way, her long proc time is kind of a blessing in disguise. So, where can Maid Momoi be used in? Well, as a strong purple AA DPS, she is useful in a bunch of content, mainly those that are elastic armored and have single target enemies, as well as being a decent option for blue content, cause sonic attack can deal 1.5 times damage to mystic armor. As such, she can be used in certain purple joint firing drills, and in terms of raids, she has seen some use in a number of purple armored grand assault stages. In particular, she has seen a lot of use in purple Shirokuro. For this raid, Maid Momoi has become a popular pick for many sensei's insane teams, being utilized as the main hyper carry as she is able to shred through the two bosses with her quote-unquote cheat code normal attacks after using her EX. And once you partner her with units such as Akko to increase her crit and crit rate, Himari or Camp Hare to boost her attack, Onsen Shinatsu, who is kinda mandatory in buffing her attack speed, which helps her launch more normal attacks, and her 2 cores can assist in quicker cycling, or Nyuya Fuka to up her crit damage slightly while cutting her cost down to 2 so that she can use her EX as much as possible. Maid Momoi is able to absolutely demolish them, and her damage output can go through the roof. Plus, it's honestly quite satisfying to see her just shooting the shit out of them. While they don't have any synergy together like their regular version, you can still pair her with Maid Midori, with the older of the twins still being the primary damage dealer, while the younger acting as a secondary DPS, occasionally dealing strong burst damage with her EX. Plus, you get this cute victory animation as a bonus. Not only that, she also takes less damage from Shirokuro's piercing attacks as a result of her raid armor. And finally, you have to take into account the timing of using her EX skill. You will have to move Maid Momoi out of the way of the snowballs and park rides so that she doesn't die. Thus, you'd ideally want to avoid using her EX at the wrong time, such as when they are about to launch those attacks, cause then you'll have to reposition her, which would disrupt that 5.5 seconds of normal attack, leading to a loss in damage. Rather, you should activate her EX after relocating her. Other than purple Shirokuro, she saw a bit of use in blue Wakamo Hovercraft Phase 2, where she is a decent option in maintaining the hovercraft's incoming damage debuff with her normal attack spam ability. She has also seen a tiny bit of use in the latest purple Cheese Grand Assault, being mainly used to take out the boss in his vulnerable period, though from what I've seen, she's only really used in a few teams, with most senseis in the top ranks preferring to use Maid Midori and Swimsuit Hanako. Unfortunately, aside from those, she really doesn't see much use elsewhere due to the current lack of content that requires single target purple units. And before you ask, no, don't even think about bringing her into Kurokage, cause that boss requires sonic AoE units, so Maid Momoi isn't a suitable pick. So overall, should you pull for Maid Momoi? Well, considering that she is the strongest purple single target DPS so far, you can pull for her if you want to have a much easier time in purple Shirokuro, or be prepared for any future raids that may require purple single target damage dealers, as she will certainly excel. You may also pull for her if you're a huge fan of our toxic gamer Maid who's a lazy piece of shit and you want this L2D cause you relate to it. On the other hand, you may also skip her since, like I mentioned, there ain't currently that much purple content where Sonic single target units would shine in, or if you wanna wait for a new single target purple DPS nuke student in the future, like maybe when 4th Fest rolls around, who would probably outperform Maid Momoi. Plus, if you're saving for the 3.5 anniversary students or other girls like Kisaki or Ideal Trinity, then you may just save your paroxines and hope Maid Momoi comes home in a future spook. Now, we have the younger of the twins, it's Maid Midori. Unlike her gremlin of a sister, Midori is more calm, quiet, and introverted, though her love for Sensei is greater and more outward, to the point where she can become a full-on yandere, wanting Sensei all to herself and not sharing her love with anyone, not even her own sister. But crazy aside, she's still very cute in her maid uniform, and I know many Midori bros love it, especially her cute L2D, cause not only does she call you master, she's also thirsty for Sensei's correction, stating that she'll accept any punishment after dropping everything everywhere. Anyways, I do like Maid Midori's design. I think she looks cute. I also quite like her more open affection for Sensei and that she's one of the thirstiest students after him. And I'm just generally a huge fan of the Gamer twins themselves. They're my second favorite pair of twins after Bao Bao. Now, what type of student is she? Maid Midori is also a permanent Sonic DPS striker with red armor with the same terrain moods as her sister. The combat power in urban terrains, as in field and B indoors, as well as having the same standard DPS equipment set, hat, pin and watch. Time for Maid Midori's skills. Firstly, with her 5 cost EX, she deals damage to one enemy in a 6 burst round, and her basic skill, which procs every 30 seconds, increases her attack for 23 seconds. Her enhanced skill further boosts her attack, and for her sub skill, whenever she activates her EX, her crit rate is increased for 10 seconds. She receives extra sonic effectiveness at UE40 on her enhanced skill plus, and her field combat power upgrades from S to SS at UE50. So, how good is she? Well, to begin with, Maid Midori is a solid purple single target DPS unit with a simple kit. Firstly, her EX, which is her primary source of damage, is extremely powerful as it can deal tons of damage, especially since it has a very high multiplier of 1738% at max level EX. Also, while it may be pretty expensive at 5 costs, you can still reduce this burden with cost reduction units, though it only goes down to 3 costs since it is an odd number. With all these, it currently makes her the first and only purple single target damage dealer who has a quote-unquote damage dealing EX and isn't an AA unit. Not only that, her EX's firepower is further boosted by her other skills. Her basic skill is able to increase her attack by nearly 50% at level 10 skill, which can greatly improve her damage. Plus, its proc time of 30 seconds and the buff's uptime of 23 seconds are quite decent. Not to mention, the short downtime of 7 seconds after the first activation is a welcome bonus as well. Her enhanced skill is important too, since it further increases her attack, but UE40 is where she becomes extra powerful cause she gains the coveted sonic effectiveness on her enhanced skill plus. So you might want to consider getting her to UE40 if you plan on using her in high-end content, as her damage output will be significantly increased. Finally, her sub-skill is fairly useful as she increases her crit by 57% after using her EX. Plus, this buff also applies to 3 to 4 of her subsequent normal attacks since it lasts for 10 seconds. Thus, as you can see, all these self-buff skills can boost her overall firepower, allowing her to nuke the enemy with her powerful EX. So, where can she be used in? Well, similar to her sister, Maid Midori is primarily useful for purple content that have single target enemies. And like other purple damage dealers, she can be brought into some blue content, but for the most part, she has currently seen some use in purple Shirokuro. In this raid, her role is quite simple. Deal pretty good burst damage using her EX to both bosses, especially after her basic skill procs, as well as buffing her with other units so that she can hit even harder. Not to mention, she can also resist his piercing attacks with her light armor, improving her survivability. With that being said, she unfortunately doesn't see much use in this raid so far, as she is greatly outshunned by Maid Momoi. I guess that's why they call her Midori, huh? This is because the older of the Cyber twins is much stronger and can dish out way more damage compared to her younger sister, due to, like I was previously talking about, her ability to launch extremely powerful normal attacks non-stop for a whole 6 seconds. And she is also able to quote-unquote spam this more frequently as a result of her lower cost, making her the superior choice for this raid and allowing her to be picked over Maid Midori in nearly every sensei's team. However, with the introduction of Kisaki, who can increase a unit's EX skill damage by a whopping 80%, this dynamic could change, as she has the potential to elevate Maid Midori into a much more powerful damage dealer, possibly even letting her surpass her sister, especially since Kisaki's EX doesn't work on AA units like Maid Momoi. So perhaps Maid Midori's pick rate for this raid, or in any purple single target content for that matter, could significantly increase with Kisaki's help. Nevertheless, for the upcoming purple Shirokuro raid next month, Maid Midori is still a good DPS option for one of your insane teams, especially if you don't have Maid Momoi, or you can even use them together despite them not having any synergy. Aside from that, she has also been used in quite a lot of sensei's teams for the newest cheesed Grand Assault in JP, tasked with defeating the ball when he opens up, being able to deal a lot of damage to him, especially after applying Kisaki's EX on her. Other than those, you might be able to use her in Purple Field Kaiten Phase 2 to deal good damage to the robot, or perhaps even in Purple Field Binner when it arrives. But outside of those, like her sister, she hasn't really been used that much due to the lack of content that require purple single target damage dealers. And before you ask, again, no, she won't be good for Kurokage cause that raid demands purple AoE units. So overall, should you pull for Maid Midori? Well, even though she is a solid purple single target DPS unit, in my opinion, you should probably skip her and save for a more powerful future purple single target nuke DPS. Or go for Maid Momoi instead, especially if you're looking for a sonic single target damage dealer. Not only that, she is a permanent unit, and considering the 3.5 anniversary students are coming in like 2 months, you can choose to skip her, save your paroxysms, and pray for a future spook. Regardless, you may still pull for her if you just generally want a good purple single target DPS. Or, as usual, if she is your waifu and you want to savor this cute and spicy L2D, / you want her to give you the yandere treatment like some good old CBT, and I ain't talking about closed beta tests. And that's all for this review. Friendly reminder that I will be doing a separate video for the Maid Aris and Banitoki review, which should be uploaded a day after this video. Anyways, let me know who you're pulling for among the twins if you are. Good luck with your pulls, and I'll see y'all in the next one.